What's going on, everybody? Make sure you log in, like, share, subscribe to my channel, J.Matthew TV. All right, so I talked about the whole thing with the whole Takashi 6ix9ine and Whack 100 and Nipsey Hussle and all that. So all that was just for me to show you that on and I'm gonna say on the lower level because those are more of common and known things that people know or know about, far as people, places, things, and that nature. You can see how people can manipulate even each other, their own friends. You can't trust nobody the way the state of the world is. We have a pandemic going on, we have a war going on, we have a world war that look like it's on the verge of breaking out. It looks like, right? Keep that in mind. Looks like. All right. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe. I know I said it once. I'm going to say it again. Please make sure you hit that notification bell. So when I'm dropping the video for you to see. Now, we're going to get into Elon Musk. Elon Musk just bought Twitter. One of the biggest platforms for communication for everyone in the world. Donald Trump was kicked off Twitter. Elon Musk is thinking about reinstating a lot of people who were banned from Twitter. Donald Trump said that he would not be one of those people that would return to Twitter, I guess, whether he gets non-banned or remains banned or whatever. They say, as far as Elon Musk's company Tesla, all that, as a whole, are saying that, and even the CEO of Twitter say that this is a good move for Twitter, that freedom of speech is important, and that's what this would bring about. More freedom, or a platform for people to say what they want to say without any restrictions or whatnot. You have to keep this in mind. Now that is the the whole scripted side, far as what you see on here, Fox, stuff like that. You got to keep in mind more on a humane moral standpoint, like being the person looking and seeing, walking, having senses on earth here, that if this man started buying up all these major companies, and they come into his umbrella, that's not good. And it's always something that, I don't know. I put it this way. It's always something that like mysteriously just happens, and then someone else has control. I put it like that. It's almost like one person is used to collect everything. Look at that crazy face. Look at that crazy ass face. One's used to control everything, and not control everything, but collect everything and then control it, and then another person comes and just swoops to take it. Don't have to do too much. Let's get into this.
Teased that he might buy up more iconic American companies in order to restore them. Musk suggesting that he might buy Coca-Cola. He might, well, there you go. Next, I'm buying Coca-Cola. He writes to put the cocaine back in. He wrote on Twitter yesterday. In another tweet, Musk said that he might buy McDonald's to fix the chain's notoriously broken ice cream machine. Later replying, listen, I can't do miracles, okay? Tammy, your reaction.
Well, it's been fabulous watching. We always thought maybe it could happen, but it still came as a surprise when it actually, in 1 month's time, actually occurred. Elon Musk is a man known for getting things done. We saw that with, of course, President Trump. One of the reasons Americans liked him and voted him in as president is that he had a history of accomplishment. Obviously, so does Elon Musk. When we talk about SpaceX and Tesla and the delivery in that regard, and a commitment and a focus, and
Rumble on this program, he was on fire. The company is doing well. I would much rather see this kind of a result to correct things. That is not the big hand of bureaucracy and government, but good old-fashioned competition.
You know, Maria, I think we're all kind of stunned to Tammy's point that this has all actually happened. And boy, is Elon Musk having a lot of fun. If people thought that Donald Trump was...
Let me show you something that this man has created. This is coming to a brain near you. Make sure you pay attention. Alright?
Fantastic things start to happen when you step aboard the Princess Cruise. Doors open up for you. Your favorite drink?
Brain to the spinal cord to the muscle is damaged the way it is in patients. Neuralink, Elon Musk's brain chip company, recently pushed back on claims that it violated animal welfare laws a few years ago while testing on monkeys. This year, the company plans to test on human subjects. But when it does, what would this major step mean for brain implant science? Academics like me have conducted clinical trials in people with brain implants. Dr. Paul Niajukian is a professor of bioengineering and neurosurgery. He directs the brain interfacing laboratory at Stanford. For about 20 years now, academic research in brain implants, up until this point, more or less, have almost exclusively been with wires. The difference that the N1 has, the Neuralink, it's fully implantable, it is battery powered, it is wireless. All of this is being done over Bluetooth protocol. Let's dive into the science behind Neuralink to understand how exactly human brain chips work. The science behind how these implants work is not that different from how you would go about trying to measure the energy from a AA battery. It's the same principle that we're doing with these brain implants. This is called neuroelectrophysiological recording. When you move your arm to the right, certain sets of neurons are activated in a certain pattern. Listening in to that activity and that pattern, you can predict very quickly which direction the arm is going to move. These are the neurons that are directly wired to your muscle. Unless that pathway from the brain to the spinal cord to the muscle is damaged, the way it is in patients with paralysis. That pathway is damaged, then the neural signals, those signals from the brain, aren't going to get down to move the muscles. But in many cases, the signals are still present in the brain, they're just not getting out. So if you reach in and put something that listens in to those neurons, then you know what's happening to the muscle. And that's the goal of a brain implant. Now let's look at a timeline of brain interface breakthroughs over the years. Scholars have long been interested in how the brain works, so it's important to...
Wait, hold on. They gonna bust your head open like a watermelon and put a fucking chip on top of it? So, you're gonna have a hole in your fucking head. Oh, I just get shivers just thinking about that. Hell nah, man. Y'all, these motherfuckers crazy. You see what we living in? You see what we living in? And they would take it in the forehead or in the hand. They got the ones in the hand too that go right there. That go right in there. Right in this part. The little part that Jamie Foxx bit in that movie. That part right there. And you gotta keep these things in mind. See, this is higher level stuff here. You know, where you're not gonna be able to, go into a grocery store. You're not gonna be able to buy some new drawers. If you need soap, water, detergent, you're not gonna be able to get nothing. Look what's going on now in not China. Is it Kuwait? Excuse me if I'm wrong, but they're already got a lockdown because of COVID. Their numbers are rising, and not only that, they're locking people allegedly in their homes. Like, some people are starving. They can't even get out of their house to go to get some food or get anything to eat, get supplies, nothing. It's like whatever you got, you had in your house, and I'm talking about they're going up and bolting their house from the outside. So they can't even open their own door and get out of their home. Like, they're barricaded, they're confined in the building that they're in. That's how bad COVID is, allegedly, So, just think. I tell people all the time, you're going to wake up one morning, it's going to be a tank rolling down your street, and it's going to be somebody with an AK. I'm going to tell you to get your ass in the house, get your ass in your house, and don't come out until Lord so-and-so or King so-and-so or Master so-and-so tell your ass to. You never seen Jim Jones before? Y'all motherfuckers ain't never seen Jonestown? Watch Jonestown.
View these new developments at Neuralink as a culmination of breakthroughs by brain-machine interface researchers, especially in the last few decades. For example, in 2002, the first demonstration of real-time cursor control in monkeys took place. 2008, a monkey controlling a robotic arm in 3 dimensions fed itself. 2012, the first brain-controlled robotic arm by a human. 2017, a human controlled a cursor mentally to type out words and sentences. Dr. Niyujukian was part of this study, as well as the one in 2018, where a human subject mentally controlled a tablet to do things like browse the web, send emails, and play games or music. All that's been done with a couple brain to the spinal cord to the muscle is damaged, the way it is in patients with paralysis.
This motherfucker gonna brush the hair on the side. Like, you still can't see that. And you can't see that fucking Sega Genesis 16-bit adapter hanging out to the top of her head. And then this shit is crazy. Y'all nuts, man. Ain't no way in hell. Nah. You ain't gonna get your boy to do that shit. Hell nah. I'll be a runaway slave. Heart of a lion, blood of a slave.
The pathway is damaged. Then the neural signals, the signals from the brain, aren't going to get down to move the muscles. But in many cases, the signals are still present in the brain. They're just not getting out. So if you reach in and put something that listens in to those neurons, then you know what's happening to the muscle. And that's the goal of a brain implant. Now let's look at a timeline of brain interface breakthroughs over the years. Scholars have long been interested in... Pager was the name. It's a rhesus macaque, which is, the type of monkey that is very commonly used. When you have chronic kidney disease, there are places you'd like to be.
Put a damn
like here.
Vultures
and here.
So what do you do when you walk around and there's lightning outside and that shit pop you in your goddamn head?
What we've been able to do in the academic field, the maximum number of electrodes I've ever recorded from is 200 to 300. So with all those electrodes, how does a device like the N1 get implanted in a subject's brain? Make no mistake, this is neurosurgery. It is not a joke. This requires cutting the skin, getting down to skull, drilling a hole in the skull, exposing what's called the dura, which is this protective layer of tissue that surrounds the brain, cutting the dura, folding it back to expose the brain, and then you get to the surface of the brain where you can implant the electrodes. The biggest risks with these types of techniques are infection, bleeding, and tissue damage. So what would it take for the FDA to approve clinical trials in humans? The Neuralink device are called class. Cutting the dura, folding it back to expose the brain, and then you get to the surface of the brain where you can implant the electrodes. The biggest risks with these types of techniques are infection, bleeding, and tissue damage. So what would it take for the FDA to approve clinical trials in humans? The Neuralink device are called Class 3 medical devices. They are implantable and they're going into very sensitive body cavities. That is the highest level of scrutiny that the FDA assigns to medical devices. They don't have a predecessor. There's no previous example that's approved. And so, very appropriately, they got a high bar they have to cross in order to get it approved. So what Neuralink has to do next is prepare a very long and technical document with all the evidence from animal studies that their device is safe and effective. This document...
See what they doing? They're trying to kill us, man. They're trying to turn everybody into freaking units. Nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Now check this out. Rumors of war, right? Now look, with this war with Ukraine and Russia, right? Okay, so there's a part in the book of Revelations that, talks about this. Alright? And this is the war. Allegedly. Now, from what news has said and told us, Russia has a history of calling the truce, saying, okay, hey, peace, shaking a hand, and then turning right around and backstabbing and going against everything they just signed for and, said they wouldn't go against. They have a history of that. So, with that being said, they're in the midst of a situation now with Ukraine. They just bombed a metal plant that was holding the last of the troops in one city that were barricaded in there. So they hit that metal plant 32, probably more now. The last I checked on the news, about 32 times. Okay. Look at this here. Look, ABC News. Russia official warns Ukraine could bring World War III. War in Ukraine. Russia warns Ukraine conflict could lead to World War III. Everybody keeps saying that. But this is the rumor. This is the rumor right here. Could lead to World War III. Rumors of war. Keep this in mind. So, with having peace talks, and they've been talking about that. 1 minute they're not going to, next minute they're going to. 1 minute, oh, you did something, we're not doing that, it's too late. Next minute, you got to keep this in mind because some kind of peace talks may come about. And then when they do, with again what I said about Russia and their history, allegedly, what do you think might happen? They would get together and sign some type of agreement to say that they would never ever bother each other, to have some kind of agreement with boundaries and, and limitations and whatnot and statutes and have this thing signed. And then all of a sudden, let's say 3 years down the line, 3.5 years down the line, the next presidency down the line, they break this. Now, it's a strategy that they can use, or that also Russia is allegedly known to use, because they'll draw back if they feel like with Ukraine situation where they thought they was going to take over certain cities and it was hard for them to do so, or certain Ukrainians or Ukraine was taking back the cities that were once conquered. You got to think, and then with the tanks getting stuck, not really preparing really how they thought they should have, or how they thought they did, or whatever. You got to keep all this in mind and think. There's going to be... There's going to be a thing for them to do to be like, okay, all right, we can't hit them where we thought we did, so let's call a truce. We're going to draw back. We're going to rethink this. And then we're going to do it again. But then we're going to be more prepared to know what to be prepared for. Alright. I'm about to wrap this up.
Advanced robot vacuum Robo-Rock S7 Max V. Well, it has reactive AI. It's combining structured light, 3D scanning, and an RGB camera. It gives us obstacle avoidance. Things like USB cables.
A very long and technical document with all the evidence from animal studies that their device is safe and effective. This document is submitted to the FDA, who has 90 days to review and give them an answer. If the FDA says yes, then their clinical trial is approved and Neuralink can enroll and recruit human participants. We're on the cusp of a complete paradigm shift. This type of technology has the potential to transform our treatments, not just for stroke and paralysis and degenerative disease, motor degenerative diseases, but also for pretty much every other type of brain disease, from Parkinson's to epilepsy to dementias, Alzheimer's, and even psychiatric disease. Seeing Neuralink and the other companies in this space start an industry around neuroengineering, brain-machine interfaces, neuroprosthetics, has been a tremendous amount of validation for neuroscientists and engineers who have been working in this space for decades. how much happier could the scientific community be than to give birth to an industry? So will this industry someday lead to the creation of cyborg humans with
You hear that? Cyborg humans.
superhuman intelligence? There's all sorts of wild speculation in our field. I think science fiction is wonderful at telling very creative and captivating stories about all sorts of things, including brain machine interfaces. The reality is we are in such early stages of this space, right, where we are just barely able to record from neurons that control muscles.
That's what they do. They test the animals and then the humans. Make sure you log in, like, share, subscribe. Leave your comments below and tell me what you think about this. So we stepping up a nerd level. Like I said, I told you the lower level where these are the distractions that are going on in the world. Just like the Will Smith slap with Chris Rock, and so Tekashi 69 thing, and and then one minute he's bullying, now he's getting beat up, and this, that, and the third, and so on and so forth. All this entertainment and all these things are just a big distraction to let you not see things like this is going on. Okay? Be mindful. Watch what's going on around you, where your surroundings. Pray. Keep Yahweh first. And when you wake up every day and you blessed to, treat it like it's 1,000 years, man. Treat that thing like it's 1,000 years. Because you never know if you're going to wake up the next day. There's a lot of us are lost people, and people don't get to wake up the next day for tomorrow. So be blessed for today, all right? I'm out. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you log in, like, share, subscribe. Again, hit the notification bell. Peace.